probably the only video on YouTube which talks about IIM Calcutta criteria being at IIM Calcutta. So do watch this vlog. So first things first, what I need to speak to you about is that the qualification criteria, that how do you find a shortlist at IIM Calcutta. A lot of you students might already have seen that particular spot, which is a very famous spot. Students can stand there obviously and enjoy this view. This is a very nice lake out here. These are the hostels at IIM Calcutta. So guys, there we are. That's the newest hostels at IIM Calcutta. Looks like a resort almost. Hi guys, and welcome to another vlog from IIM Calcutta. As you can see, the iconic building of IIM Calcutta. I'm right now staying at the IIM Calcutta campus for you so that I can share with you more about this place. Now, as you know, this vlog is very important because if you're an MBA aspirant who's not scored well in his academics, and if you still aspire to be at one of the old IIMs, then probably this vlog is very important for you, because what you'll know is that how IIM Calcutta is probably that only old IIM which will give you that kind of an admission. So allow me to share with you that what is the bad profile which you can have, which is good enough for IIM Calcutta for you to get an admission. I will be explaining the entire process, the entire requirements, that how much you need to score and what is the criteria for shortlisting you for the interviews, as well as the criteria for giving you the final admission. All of that is in this vlog from IIM Calcutta. Probably the only video on YouTube which talks about IIM Calcutta criteria being at IIM Calcutta. So do watch this vlog. So first things first, what I need to speak to you about is that the qualification criteria, that how do you find a shortlist at IIM Calcutta. Now, while I will be speaking about the shortlisting criteria which has been announced for the 23 to 25 batch of MBA, usually the criteria is similar all the years, and for each year you can just see that how much has the numbers changed. However, the entire flavor of their selection is the same. With that, I basically mean to say that you can find a lot of students over here who are not the ones who are the most academically brilliant in their undergraduation or somewhere like that, no, but they're still here. So you can see that each year historically IIM Calcutta is known to have such a criteria where such diverse personalities come into IIM Calcutta. So while people might say that okay, you will find a lot of diversity at IIM A and B, but there is a very different kind of a diversity which you'll find at IIM Calcutta. It is that you not only have the ones who have been good high achievers, but also the students who've not achieved so well in their UG. Probably they were exploring various other things in their UG. However, IIM Calcutta still gave them a chance. A lot of you students might already have seen that particular spot, which is a very famous spot. Students can stand there obviously and enjoy this view. This is a very nice lake out here. These are the hostels at IIM Calcutta from here. So what you can see here are the hostels of IIM Calcutta. I'll probably have another vlog to show you inside the hostels as well. Now, if I were to summarize the criteria for shortlisting you for the MBA admission interviews, I would just say two simple things, and from that you will be able to completely understand. First thing is that for shortlisting for the interviews, IIM Calcutta does not consider your UG score. So whatever you've scored in your undergraduation is not included, is not a part of the evaluation. However, you need to still score at least a 50% in your UG for you to be evaluated, for you to be eligible for an IIM Calcutta interview. And all of the things which I will be saying are for the general candidates. You can find the same for yourself, whichever is your category. Apart from that, the second and a very important thing is that while they do not consider your UG scores, the second thing which you need to know about the shortlisting criteria is that it is entirely mostly dependent on your CAT. Your CAT scores have as high as 66% weightage in finalizing whether you'll get a call or not. Now, let me explain to you the shortlisting criteria of IIM Calcutta. You'll also be able to see this on your screen as I'm speaking. So what happens is that the overall score for them to evaluate you, for them to shortlist you, is out of 85. Now, out of 85, 56 marks are for your CAT score, which means 66% of the evaluation of whether you'll be at IMC or not, whether you'll be in that interview room or not, is as per your CAT score. Secondly, your class 12th marks have more weightage than your class 10th marks. So in class 10th, the marks which they assign out of 85 are 10, whereas for class 12th, the marks assigned are 15. And also, what you need to understand, the great thing, the true generosity of IIM Calcutta is that if you've scored above 80% in your 10th and 12th, you will get the respective full marks in those two components, which means that if you've scored above 10th, you will score a 10 on 10, and if you've scored above an 80 in class 12, you will score a 15 out of 15. Those are the three major components of the evaluation criteria for the interviews. From there, the remaining 4 out of the 85 which I have explained, the remaining 4 are for your gender diversity. So if you're a female or a transgender, then you will get those 4 marks for yourself. If you are a male, obviously you will not score anything in that. Simply put, now that you have this in front of you, now that you know that okay, how you're being scored for your interviews at IIM Calcutta, you simply know that if you want to be at IIM Calcutta, if your UG scores are low, if your class 10th and 12th scores are average, I mean 80 is average, you can easily score 80. Yes, there are some boards around India where scoring 80 is hard. However, usually 80 in your 10th and 12th is doable. This simply means what? That if you have average 10th and 12th and whatever your UG may be, as long as it's above 50, you just need to go ahead and focus on cracking CAT and score a very high score in it. When I'm saying high, that high could even be as high as 99.8, 99.9 high. You need to score that high, and you know that 60% of the weightage is on CAT and the remaining is on your class 10th and 12th. Even though they are average, you will get full in that. From there, I'll quickly explain you that once you are through with your interviews, then what is the final selection criteria? How do they evaluate you for your final selection? Now, before I explain you the exact formulas, the scores and this, if I were to summarize it in one line, I would say this one very simple thing. 94 marks out of 100 marks are in your hands. 94% of the final mark, the scores which are being used to evaluate you for final selection, 94% of them are in your hands. Basically, if you were to simply understand it, IIM Calcutta is giving you the chance of reinventing yourself, to give yourself another chance, whoever you may be. Now, allow me to explain why am I saying that 94% are in your hands. Now, if you were to see the evaluation criteria, which should now be on your screen, 30 out of 100 marks are for your exam scores. So, which means that whatever you've scored in your CAT, which has already made you reach the interview room, which is high enough for IIM Calcutta, that constitutes 30% of the final score. Apart from that, 48 marks are for your personal interview. Almost half of the scores are dependent on how well you do on your interview. 8 marks are for your VAT, for your writing ability test. That is also part of all of the things which happen on the same day as your PI. So your PI day is crucial. If you effectively see, 56% of the final scores depend on your PI, and if you add 56 plus 30, you have as high as 86% of the scores which depend on you, which depend on how well you have appeared for CAT, how well you are appearing for your PI, which means that whatever your problems might have been in the past, due to which you might not have been able to score well in your 10th or 12th or in your UG, you have a chance again. You have some 86 marks out of the 100 which are for your CAT CAT, which are for your PI, which are for your VAT, which are all the things which you still have to do. What you're seeing behind that tree, as I've already told you, that's the new hostels at IIM Calcutta. That's exactly where I'm planning to take you right now to just show you around. From there, what you need to understand is that where are the remaining 14 marks? What happens to the 14 marks? So guys, there we are. That's the newest hostels at IIM Calcutta. Looks like a resort almost. And let me share with you more about the selection criteria for you to know that how you can land up in these hostels. This, my dear friends, is the newest hostel at IIM Calcutta. Looks exactly what a resort in front of a lake would look like. So now what happens to the remaining 14 marks, the remaining 14 score which will allow you to stay here at these hostels at IIM Calcutta? Out of those 14 marks, 8 marks are for your work experience. And in that, if you have anywhere from 2 to 3 years of work experience, if you are at that sweet spot, then you will get all in that component. And whereas the 6 marks are for academic diversity. So if you are a non-engineer or if there are certain specific things in which there is a lot of interesting things, even if you are an engineer, you can get those 6 marks in academic diversity, for which probably I need to create a separate video altogether. But 6 marks are for what you know as academic diversity. This is the total sum up of the 100 which you have, from which you can actually evaluate, from which they actually shortlist or make the final choice of the students who will be at IMC. This is the 100, and from this what you can clearly see is that except for what your academic diversity is, except for the 6 marks which you have, everything else is what you can even control right now. So it's not that okay कि अब तो कर ली मैंने engineering, अब तो engineering में मेरा score भी नहीं आया and all of those things. No, even if all of that has gone away, even now this has been structured in a way that even 94 scores are still entirely in your hand for you to do well, for you to find out that okay, how will you be able to score and be here at IIM Calcutta. However, now if I were to still speak to you about that, what are the various scores inside that academic score, inside those 6 marks? If you are a finance professional, if you are a CA, CFA and all of those things which you will see on your screen, you will get all 6. So you will also have the same if you have your UG in law and also some other things apart from that which you will see on your screen. I'll share that. I just seen it aaj subah hi. Then the second thing is that if you are a non-engineer UG, then you'll get 4 out of 6. So all of that I'll put it on the slide in front of you and you'll know that exactly what is the 100 score out of. I don't know why do I have a feeling, but in the name of nature, IIM Calcutta has wasted a lot of land on which they could have made a lot more in infrastructure. Probably they require a massive infrastructure upgrade. If you see their old site, if you see their library, if you see their old hostels, you will say that yes, this requires a massive effort, especially when you see it in terms of IIM A and IIM B. You'll know that yes, there's a lot more to do. Probably a lot of these lands are also marshy lands. I don't know about that, but yes, there is a lot of scope to build infrastructure. So guys, I hope that with that you have a complete idea. You have a complete idea that if you're somebody who's not that great academically, if your UG is something which has not gone well, then probably there is a very big chance of how you can be at IIM Calcutta. And I've shown you the exact scoring about how that happens. I've shown you while being at the IIM Calcutta campus here in Calcutta, obviously. Now with this, at the end of this, what I would like to say to you is that while I'm here, I can see a lot of students and I can feel it that yes, the students here are not the same as what you'll find at an IIM A or B, because at an IIM A or B, what you know is that all of the students have been achievers in some sphere of their life for sure. They have been consistent achievers, whereas at IIM Calcutta, these are the guys who might have done a lot of things. You would actually assume is that if there is somebody who's not scored well in their UG but has the acumen to score well in the CAT, you would expect that these are the guys who have not scored in the UG, probably as they were involved in experiencing facing various other aspects in their UG or somewhere else. So from there, probably what you can understand is that the diversity at IIM Calcutta is true. You will find such unique personalities over here who have different aspirations than what the students at A and B have. This is what you can feel here. And if you're somebody who's different, who's hatke, but yet wants to be at an old IIM, probably IIM Calcutta is the only place where you have a great chance at. Thanks a lot for watching this. Do not forget to hit the like.